What's up, guys? Brad Garlinghouse is going to be on 60 Minutes this Sunday. I'm looking on Reddit and I'm seeing people say, oh, the price is going to pump to the upside. Yeah, it could be. It could possibly be. Brad Garlinghouse getting on there explaining about XRP. And you have these people watching 60 Minutes, right? And then they buy XRP because of it. But, it's kind of one of those things where you got to be skeptical because just like when Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live, everyone thought the Bitcoin price was going to go up. And what did it do? It went down, right? So it's all about what? Buy the rumor. The rumor is he's going to be on 60 Minutes. And then once he's on 60 Minutes, it's called buy the rumor, sell the news. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go down. I'm not saying it's going to go up. I have two counts for us today, right? I'm going to talk about Theta as well. The flat is playing out just as we expected it to. So when we look at XRP, we have to understand where it's at, right? So Sunday, let's see here. Sunday is on the 8th, okay? So it's actually I'm not sure because this is UTC time, so I'll just put it there. I'll just put it right there. So that's when he's going to be speaking. So here's the thing. Number one, this thing is in a three-wave pullback, right? So we had an impulse, and then we have a three-wave pullback, and then we have a 1-2, and then we're sort of building a little bit of a base here, and then we should start going up, right? And then maybe we get to this point and then it starts to go down, right? That's one idea. The other idea is basically the same idea. We have a three-way pullback, we're building a base, and then we just break out, right? And you can basically, it doesn't matter that Brad Garlinghouse is going to be on 60 Minutes, right? Typically, when somebody, because here's the problem, people are expecting it. When you expect something to happen, it's already priced in. People are pricing it in, right? So, but again, the people who don't know, right? First of all, who watches 60 Minutes? I think 60 Minutes, the viewership, right? The rating. I mean, you look at the 60 Minutes and their ratings are horrible, right? Nobody's watching them anymore. And that's not like back in 10 years ago where people watched it. So obviously they still get a lot of views, and you're going to get a lot of views for the crypto guys. But the crypto guys are already in XRP, so you can't count them, right? So they still, despite that, they still have good views, right? The premiere, it drew in 10 million people, 10 and a half, right? So they're averaging, I would say, 10, between 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, it just depends on what it is, right? So we'll say 10 million. Okay, that's kind of a lot of people. So Saturday Night Live only draws in about 5 million, so about half, right? But even Saturday Night Live couldn't continue to pump the Bitcoin price up because of Elon Musk, right, being on there. So, so the age audience is about 25 to 50 years old, but I think it's actually more than that. I think it's more like 28 to 70. I mean, I know like my grandma and grandpa like to watch 60 Minutes, where they used to. So, it's a lot of old people, and, old people, they watch it. I don't know if they're going to be motivated to just buy XRP. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, maybe you got some people who will, but is it enough? Remember, XRP is what, $100 billion market cap. So even if $1 billion came in, that's only 1%. It's nothing, right? So you need tens of billions of dollars to pump the price. So let's look at the market cap. So it's actually 135 billion. I was being conservative. Okay. So 135 billion, right? So let's say we're at the bottom of the range, right? Here's the bottom, here's the top. All right. And that range is what? That range is approximately about $40 billion. That's a lot of money. Okay. So to break out of this swing high, you're going to need more than $40 billion. I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening. Now, putting it aside, I'm not saying it can't happen. If we break out, let's say we break out, the narrative is going to be 60 minutes. But in actuality, it's not, right? It's not. So there's two things, right? If we break out, right, we have a three-way pullback and we break out and we're just hauling butt, right? We're on our way to new all-time highs, $3 plus, let's say. Okay, if that happens, it's not because of 60 minutes. Maybe 60 minutes helped a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, you have people who are buying with the anticipation of it being aired. You know what I mean? So, like, you have a trader out there who knows Brad's going to be on Sunday, and what he's going to do is going to buy a 500,000 XRP. And you have tons of these guys out there, right? And he's going to buy, and it's going to push the price up. Is it because grandma or some 50-year-old dude is watching 60 Minutes and it's because of him? No, it's because of people who already know what's going on, right? So yeah, they're going to help a little bit, but you know, when I'm there's so much uneducatedness on Reddit and other places. I mean, I think they're a little bit more intelligent, but when you go to XRP and you look at these Reddit posts, you can tell there's a lot of new blood in there, and they just have no clue how markets work. And I don't post in Reddit. I just kind of look at things, you know. But anyways, that's kind of how I'm thinking here. So let's go to the ideas now. So as I'm speaking, we just had the 4-hour close, and we're getting a pump. That's good. That's what we want, right? So we have, number one, a descending triangle. But here's the thing. We already broke above the descending triangle, right? So that's actually a good thing. And another thing is we are starting to accumulate in here. Notice how we're pushing up, pushing back down, pushing back up, right? If we make equal highs here, so let me explain right here. When you have I'm going to have to do it like this. This is a very good lesson, so bear with me here. Let's see if I can draw it here. So we have a descending triangle, right? Just like that. Okay, I don't know why the hell it's blue. There we go. And we have a descending triangle, which means, you know, it's typically bearish, right? It's typically, oh gosh, where are you? It's typically bearish, right? They usually break to the downside. So, you know, they basically go like this. You have a high, you have equal lows, but lower highs. Or you have lower highs and equal lows, right? So there you go. That's a descending triangle, just like that. And then we break down, just like this. And then we'll come back up, we'll retest it as resistance, and then we'll come down and we'll meet the target. Just like that. That is a perfected descending triangle, right? And then once it's finished, it kind of just plays around a little bit, and then a lot of times it just continues higher, right? Or it can continue down. It just depends on where we are in that phase, all right? So, but if you look at it like this, for example, right? You know, you could see we're coming down, we're coming back up, equal highs or equal lows, lower highs, right? But then once you get down here and look, then I come back up and now look, I'm actually coming back to equal highs here, right? So it's no longer lower highs. Now I'm having equal highs and equal lows. But then if you look over here, we actually have a higher low, right? So that's what I mean. Like I put a video out yesterday. How do you know what is it going to be? Is it going to be a three-way pullback and a continuation, or is it going to be a descending triangle and you break down? You have to watch. You have to see. And now since we watched and we can see what happened over the last 24 hours, 12 hours or so, we can see, right? Let me just get rid of that. We can see now that we're coming back up to equal highs. So we want to see this high get broken. Because so far, it's still a low. It's still a lower high, right? We've actually had a higher low, but we need a higher high in order to invalidate this. So the first step is breaking above the triangle itself, which we did, right? We broke above it. That's step number one. We did it, which means it increases the probability of us not breaking down. So in order to increase the probability even higher, we need an equal high, number one, and then we need to break that high. We need to break this high right here. All right. And I'm actually looking at the market cap. I need to go to the actual price here and I need to look at it because it could be a little bit different, but probably not. Yeah, it's actually quite similar. So if we draw a line just like this, that's your downward resistance line. We broke above it, right? And then here's your support line. And you can see right here, these little nuances, this is about, the difference between, looking at it as a whole versus picking it apart piece by piece. You know what I mean? So you could see this little, we have a low here, right? But then notice the close is higher than this close, right? Even though that wick was there. But that wick was actually a good thing. We got bought up quickly, right? And then if you notice over here, we have our close, but then right here we have a higher close and a higher wick. And then once, boom, that was confirmed, then we broke out. And then once we broke out, look what we're doing. We're actually having follow through. So what do we need to do? We need to break this high. So now let me tell you the count here. All right. So the count is number one, right? This is an impulse. We have a three-way pullback. This is a 1-2, right? Another little 1-2, and we're about to go on the third, 4, and then 5. Very simple, right? It's not going to go in a straight line. It could take a day. It could take 2 days. It could take 3 days. It could take a week, right? So that's idea number one. Idea number two is you have a three-way pullback, and now we're coming back up for another 3 waves. 1, 2, 3. And then we get into the retracement levels, and then we get... So as we get into these retracement levels, we'll get rejected, right? So this is idea number two. We come up here, right? Let's say W, we get an X, 3 waves. And then what happens after that? We come back down in 3 and then get a Y. Now, it could be aggressive. For example, it could be like this. And we can go all the way back down to $2, right? So when you crash, when you pull back, when you correct, you find a base and then you make a retracement, right? Because what happens is you pull back and then you play around at the lows for a while, right? For a couple days. And what happens? People get nervous. People get scared, right? So they sell. And then there's accumulation going on, like guys like me. right? And then people out there who are selling, so, and then what happens is the sellers lose. Why? Because look what happened. You have right here, you dropped 25%, right? So you walk into a store and something's, $100 and now it's 25% off, right? So what is it? $75. And what do people do? They end up buying it. Why? Because it's a deal. Okay. So you got 25% off. Now it could be more than that. It could be 50%, it just depends on, but we can see the reason why we know it's not is because we can see 3 waves, right? And then when we came back up, we didn't make a 5th wave. We had a higher low, and now we're starting to push up, right? So the idea here is that this comes up into a retracement, and then what happens? People get excited again, right? People get excited again, but then we get rejected here, and we go sideways like this. But as we go sideways, people get greedy. Just like down here when we were going sideways, people get fearful, right? People get greedy and then they buy. And then what happens? Then we go down. So they got screwed here and then they get screwed here, right? So that's why I think people should consider subscribing, because we're tracking this almost every day, and I think we're doing pretty good. So there's your 2 ideas right there. So idea number 1, 3-way pullback. You build an accumulation base. You get up here, you flag out, and you break out. Idea number 2, you get up here, and then you could have an ABC like this. You could come up and make a flat like this, right? Or even a flat like this, or even an expanded flat like that, right? So you're not going to know until we get over here. But there you go. Those are the 2 ideas. Now, what about the third idea? Here's the third idea. The third idea is we get up here, right? And we get rejected. And then we start coming down and we break that low. And then we come back up and then we get rejected again, right? And then we come down. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? And then you go up for a retrace. And then you'd probably get a big A, B, C, and then go. So those are the 3 ideas, right? So which one's it going to be? Well, you don't know. You have to track this wave. So let's zoom in here a little bit. You can kind of see a little bit of a trend line there. You can also kind of see a trend line here. So we broke out of it, which is step 1. Step 2, we need to get through this line, which is right at $2.44. So that's the line, right? So we could be creating some type of ascending triangle, right? Or if we come up here and we get rejected, we flag back, then we break out, right? Or we basically start trending down now. So, I mean, how do you know what is it that, how is that helping me? You know what I mean? How does that, well, you have to watch it. That's the whole point, right? To know where the price is going, you have to sit there and watch it. Now, nobody wants to sit there all day and watch it. It's torture, right? So what I do is I check it periodically throughout the day. I just go to the 1 hour chart, right? And I put my lines up and I just check it it takes 2 seconds to look and see where it's at. If we start coming down, then hey, what the count is going to be, because it's all about ruling out what it's not, right? So again, we pull back, we break out. We pull back, we come up into a retracement, and then we get a C wave, A, B, C, and then go. or WXY. Or we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we retrace. So the difference between, so 2 counts say we break up, 1 count says we break down. So we want to rule out this count. The way we rule that count out is by breaking above this high. That will significantly increase the probability of that. But once we do that and we get up here, then we have to worry about the retracement levels, the 618, the 702, the 786, right? So let's put those on right now. Man, I have Frontier internet and my internet went out again. And the guy who I texted him, he said they keep stealing the copper, right? So I guess, gold's going up, silver's going up, copper's going up, platinum's going up. So they're stealing the copper wires, or not copper wires, but copper, right? So they don't care about the fiber optic cables. They're after the copper. So they actually took a chainsaw and they actually took the pole down, and then they went under the ground and they got it. So they need to either separate the copper from the fiber, or they need to fix it, man, because I'm about ready to leave and go to Charter or Spectrum or something, because this is ridiculous. All right. Anyways, so if we look at the Fibonacci levels, if we come up here in a retrace, we need to break these levels. So right now, I would say it's pretty easy. You got point A, point B, right? So these 2 points are easy. Once you get up here, that's when it's going to be very hard. It's going to be like, well, what's it going to do? And it all depends how it moves up. And so far, it's moving up correctively because we only have 3 waves. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. That could be W. And then we have 1, 2, 3. It could be, a flat. And that could be your retrace right there. That's all you get is an X as an X wave, right? Because you have 3 technically, right? And then you come down into a Y. And then go up, right? So it's all, it's Friday. Saturdays, sometimes we get some pumps on Saturdays. Fridays we've been pumping. I mean, look at the market. Let's see. The market's actually doing okay today. It's up. You got SHIB almost 3%, Theta 3%, Bitcoin, whoa, 5%, not bad. We got XDC 3.5%. I thought it was higher earlier. We got 2.5% on Bohm. We got Chainlink in the house at 10%. Whoa. Let me check out Link here. Yeah, see exactly what we talked about. This was 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. I mean, it's, if you master this, and I think, they charge hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars online for trading online courses, right? And that's what this is, right? And that's why my videos are long, right? They're an hour long. I can make them 10 minutes and I can just kind of tell you real quick, but I like to actually, get a little bit deeper in there so that you guys can be more equipped with, the knowledge of, and it's for me, that's how I learned, right? Just watching people trade, watching people do things. And the longer you're exposed to this, the more likely you're going to know on yourself, right? So if you're experienced or if you're starting out, right, it doesn't matter. We can all, even for me, I'm still learning, right? It's a never ending learning process. So, and it has to do a lot with memory and identifying structures. And all of us can count right? We can count 1, 2, 3. We can count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. We got a pump and we got a three-way pullback, and now we're breaking out, right? So as we learn this, for this bull cycle and then for the bear cycle, right? So let's just flip this upside down. There you go. There's your bear market right there. So bear markets are actually more challenging in some regard because everything's upside down. You know what I mean? But I would say for the most part, bear markets take a lot longer, way longer than a bull market. So the reason why it would be harder is because things take longer to get to the target, and then as that time goes by, you second guess yourself. Well, maybe it's not doing that, maybe it's doing something else. Because when things are bull running, right, they happen fast. So this is the opportunity to make money, right? So, for me, like if I was just starting out, I would sell my Xbox. I would sell anything I can to get the cash and put it into crypto, because this is your moment. And then this is not financial advice. Don't do what I'm saying for me, right? If I was starting out, I would sell everything I got and I would put it into crypto. And then what I would do is, once you get going, right, you take your profit, you cash out, and then you get back everything you had or that you sold, right? Maybe have a garage sale, right? I'm not saying sell your house, I'm not saying sell your car, sell your house, sell all that. I'm saying if there's things that you don't need, maybe you got some old video games, or maybe you got some, I don't know, who knows, right? People got all kinds of stuff in their garage, right? This is for me. I'm not saying for you. I'm saying for me, this is the time for me to sell stuff, right? Actually, it was a long time ago. It was actually, in the middle of the bear market. That's the time to sell, right? Is in the bear market. Get rid of things you don't need and put that extra money in, because a lot of people, they work paycheck to paycheck, and they don't, they have a little bit of spending money, but they don't have a lot of money, to really put down on a decent sized position. So that's kind of how I look at it. So for example, when you look at Link, you go to the 4-day chart here. This right here was classic accumulation, right? It's the same thing what we just saw with XRP. You have a three-way move to the downside, right? Actually, it's more like 5, because you have this wave here. But you have 3 waves down, and then what do? Sideways, 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 and then eventually you break out. So this is accumulation. This is where smart money's getting in. This is where everybody's selling, right? The other side, the dumb money, as they say. So, and then once you pump, then the dumb money gets back in, and then the smart money takes their profit, some of their profit, not all of it. And then we pull back, and then we redeploy that profit. And then they get out, and then we pump. So they got screwed twice, right? So that's another reason why I'm sharing my insights, because I don't want people to get screwed. I want everybody to make as much money as they possibly can, right? As long as we're all winning, we're all happy, we're all friends at the end of the day. So Chainlink, you can see very clearly we have an inverse head and shoulders, right? And if I take the measurement of that and I put it right about there, you can see that is a measurement of about $100. And that makes sense, because that's a nice round number. So what is that, like a 3x from where we are? Or no, not from where we are, from down here. Well, no, that would be much more. So yeah, $25 up to $100. Yeah, that's about a 3x. Okay, So where is that on the Fib scale? Is there any confluence with that price target? Well, if we pull it down, let's take a look. We can see we're right at the 2. So it's basically a 2 extension. So yeah, there is confluence right around there. So you'd probably come up to the 618 and then probably hit the high at $100. So I think $100 can we go higher than $100? Absolutely. Right? We have to examine the wave structure. Now Chainlink has pretty good wave structure here. Let me just do this, get it out of the way. There we go. So Chainlink, you can see, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you got A, B, C. And then you got 1, 2. Now we're in the third. Now we don't know if the third is finished yet. It might not be finished. So maybe we got a little bit more to go. And then you get 4, and then you get 5. Right? And that's wave 3. And then you get another pullback. And then you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that takes you right to $100. Right? It'd probably be a little bigger than that. And if you take a trend-based extension here, from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1, down to the bottom of wave 2, you can see that actually goes, the third wave actually goes right to the 2. Look at that. Well, that's just the way I've drawn it. I mean, it might not be that, But there you go. That's kind of a 5-wave move there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what we're waiting for, right? We're waiting to get up here. So, I mean, I think it's going to happen much faster than people think. So we'll see how it plays out. But there you go. That's Link. That's an example. Let's look at Theta, because we've been tracking Theta. Let's go ahead and buy Bit. Okay. So we're coming up on a 9 on the 4-day. We just had a 9 3 candles ago, and we notice the 9 printed the red dot, the red dot, the red dot, and these 2 candles still have not broken above that 9 yet. That's how you know the 9 is working. It's a 1 to 4 candle correction, even though they're correcting up. So again, if you want this indicator, it's called Trend Reversal Predictor. So it's originally called TD Sequential, but TD is Tom DeMark, and that is copyrighted or trademarked. So I don't know, maybe you can't get it anymore unless you're grandfathered in. But Trend Reversal Predictor is the same thing. It's just labeled differently. So let's look at the small time frames. So we also had a 9 on the daily. Okay, let's look at the 4-hour now. So the 4-hour is a little, obviously it's corrective, right? So the idea here is that this is some type of flat. Now it could be finished. It's hard to know right away, right? Because you got 3 down, and then you got 1, 2, 3 up, and then maybe we get 1, 2, 3 back down. So something like that, and then we start going up to 350, because that's where I'm looking at $3.50. That's where we need to be. So $3.50. Right now we're holding the 20 period moving average on the 4-hour. It still looks good. We're in Consensio. right? Look at that. Ethereum hits 4,000. Let's go check it out. Ethereum. Yeah, it sure did. $4,000. Now, if you look at Ethereum, we could see something like this with Theta. So when you look at Theta, right, we pulled back and then we're kind of doing this. So you expect kind of a flat, but sometimes you can pull back and you can just keep trailing and trailing and trailing and trailing and trailing and then pop. You know, basically the B wave turns into a bottleneck and then you just start bottlenecking, right? And then eventually you break out. So there's another example of that too. Kind of like near in a way where you kind of pull back and then you kind of, you're chopping to the upside. But I think one of the better examples is ICP. Now look at ICP. It looks very similar to Theta. Let's put up Theta here for a second. So if we look at Theta, here we go. And then if we look at ICP, you can kind of see a little something similar, right? I'm not saying, so when you get a shape like this, we have to assume it's a flat. It's a running flat or something like that, and then we go up. But if we keep, pushing like this and like this and like this, right? Then I'm going to think, well, it's something like ICP. And the reason why the reason why the price does this, it doesn't give you the clean waves that you want, is because it's getting through those retracement levels, right? So you can see, right? You move down, and then you're 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're chopping. You come up, you reset. You come up, you reset. And what this does is it's resetting the momentum. And now you can kind of see we're kind of flattening out in here, right? So now we're kind of chopping sideways. So, it could be a long flat like this, or we could break out. We have to look at the, keep an eye on that range. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking here for Theta. Either it's going to be a flat, or we're going to keep trailing higher. It could also be that the flat is done. For example, we come down, right? And then you have 1, 2, 3. And then you can see 1, 2, 3 here. It's very shallow, but it's still sort of a running flat here. So we'll know if we can hold this line. If we can hold this line, then we'll break out. If not, then we'll, have to come down a little bit more. But ultimately, we're going to keep pushing higher, in my opinion, right? So there you go. That's Theta. All right, Theta Fuel. So Theta Fuel, kind of the same thing in a way, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull back. Looks like another 5-wave move, and then you have a running flat. So 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then you have another, looks like 1, 2. And then you have another 1, and then a 2. So that is probably the most bullish setup, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, So now, is it possible, because you can see, the way is see how it's overlapping, right? It comes up, it overlaps, it comes up, it overlaps. So that's, it's kind of resetting the price, right? So Theta Fuel actually looks better wave structure, more identifiable, because you can see 3 down, right? And then you have 3 up, and that's an expanded flat for a B wave. And then we have 3 down. So we have W, X, Y. That's so far running flat, right? So if we can play around a little bit and keep going, great. If this pushes down, then it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, 1, 2, 3, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. That's how I would look at it. A, B, C. And if we break this low, it's still an ABC, right? So again, just tracking those small time frames. So there you go. There's Theta Fuel. Now on the larger time frames, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 extended fifth. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 extended fifth, and then we have A, B, C, an expanded flat for a wave 2. And then we have 3 up, 3 down, and now it looks like we're getting 5 up. And then once we get in this retracement area, which we're at now, that becomes a dangerous spot. Why is it dangerous? Because that's where the fingernail biting starts. You know, can we break it? Point A, point B, you're in the middle of point C. We got to break those retracement levels, right? Otherwise, we risk this being a flat A, B, C, because all we have is 3 waves, right? So if we have 3 down and this is 3 up, what do you think could happen up here? We could get 3 back down, and it would be devastating, and then go up. It could be a larger running flat or regular flat. So where's the pivot? The pivot would be right sort of where we are now. So that's why I mean it could be dangerous. That's why we have to break out. We have to break it. And the good thing is we see, ADA breaking, there's a lot of coins out there that are breaking it. So it gives confidence so the rest of the market could break it too. Right? So if we look at Ethereum, I can find it real quick. We could see Ethereum is breaking out, right? We had a 3-way pullback. We built our accumulation range. And now we've got through all the retracement levels, and now we're about to break out. So if Ethereum can do it, then that's what the rest of the altcoin market was waiting. That's why I made a T-Fuel video, a Theta Fuel video, and an Ethereum video together a couple days ago. Right? So, because Ethereum is the number 1 altcoin, whether we like it or not. It's not Solana, it's not Sui, it's not even XRP. It's Ethereum. So Ethereum needs to show up. Even though it's slow, it's clunky, it's expensive, it doesn't matter. It has to play. It has to play. Because if Ethereum dies, then that gives shockwaves to the rest of the cryptos. Why? Because if Ethereum is like too big to fail, and there's no such thing as too big to fail, right? So if Ethereum fails, then that means the confidence in crypto, like if Ethereum can fall, then so can Matic, then so can this coin, then so can this coin, right? But if Ethereum breaks out, then people look at it, well, then Avalanche can break out. Solana can break out, right? I mean, all these other coins can, which Solana actually already did break out, right? So you can kind of see we're contorting in here, and now we're breaking out. So you got that pump, you're flagging out here, and now you're breaking out. I was trading Ethereum. I should have just held it. I should have just held it, but, it is what it is. So that's about it. just let me, I'm just going to go through some charts. I'm just going to look at the charts here and just kind of see anything popping out at me. Man, CRV, that one broke my heart, because I was watching this for months and months, and I kept talking about it. And I got in, and then I got out, and then I couldn't get back in, and it was just one of those things where it just got away from me. So, but look at that. You can go back and watch my videos right here and right here. And every time I talked about CRV, I said how bullish it was. I kept saying, man, this thing is going to be crazy. The reason why is because you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you had a beautiful three-way pullback. Look at that three-way pullback. You're flagging out here, and then explosion. And when you track it and you put time, blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, into something, you know, it's kind of like you're out there hunting and you've been watching something, you know, and then you've been tracking it for months, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It's like, man, it sucks, but I can't complain too much because I've gotten other charts that worked out pretty well. But CRV actually worked out really well. It would, you know, CRV is up as much as XRP went up. So if I would have been in CRV and XRP instead of all these other coins, I would have just made so much more money. But then I would get out of CRV and I would be rotating it into Theta and to other coins that haven't broken out yet. That's just me. The art of rotation. Aave, this is another big giant that needs to break out here. You can see it starting to climb up, right? Starting to make its way back up. And then when we go back to Ethereum, it still hasn't gotten through its all-time high. You know, it's barely working on this side. So right now, we are right at, let's see where we are for Ethereum here. Let me just make sure that's on linear scale. Right now, we are crossing the 786. That is beautiful. Look at that. Because before, let me just make sure these are as close as I can get it. You can see the swing high here. Let me go to the weekly chart. Okay, so look at the weekly close. It's going to happen in 2 days, guys. 2 days. The highest weekly close we had so far over the last year, right, was right here. And now look at this. We couldn't break above the 786, and now look at this. We're breaking above it. This is a beautiful sign, right? Even if you don't hold Ethereum, it doesn't matter, because this is about the whole market, right? We want Ethereum to succeed so that it can, because Ethereum is a massive market cap, and when Ethereum makes huge gains, there's a lot of liquidity in there that rotates into smaller coins. And that's the whole goal. That's why we want it to go up, with the assumption that eventually the rotation will happen. So, there you go. So where can Ethereum go? It's going to 7,000. It's probably going to $10,000, or at least $8,000. Probably between 7 and 8,000. That's where I would imagine. And that's only a 2x from where we are. So it's not that much, you know. So because the market cap is so big, you know, if we look at it, if we look at the market cap of Ethereum, let's see, is it here? Or do I have to type it in? Let me see. There it is. So we're almost at $500 billion. Okay, so that would put us at almost $1 trillion market cap for Ethereum, right? So there you go. 866 billion up to 1 trillion, right? And that was the same amount we were just talking about on the other chart. So yeah, could it go higher? That if we go to 2, the 2 here, that would be, I think that was 8,000 or so, right around there. So it would be nice to see a $10,000 ETH. So let me go back to ETH real quick and let's see where $10,000 would be. Because it's a nice round number, it's going to make headlines, it's going to be good for the space. Right? Even though I think Ethereum did XRP dirty, right? Go watch the Rigged movie. It's a crypto movie, it just came out. So $10,000 would actually put you at the 2.272, right around there. Okay, so but then if we go back here, the 2.272, that's 1.17 trillion. Yeah, I think that's very possible. $10,000, very possible. And that's not that much. If we go up here, that's only 140%. I don't even get out of bed for that amount, right? I mean, it doesn't, it's nothing. Because when we look at things like, you got H bar in there, H bar went up quite a bit already, so it's not a good example, but I think H bar is going to go to the 4.236. I think it's going to go, it probably has another 600% left. Between 5 and 600%. It's all about percentages. It doesn't matter how good the fundamentals are. The fundamentals could be the best in the world. It doesn't matter. It's all about percentages. And percentages are all dependent on fib levels. Right? So SHIB has actually a really good chance at being really good. So if we go here, right? Remember, H bar was 600%, right around there, to the 4.236. Okay, now let's measure SHIB to the 4.236, and let's see the difference. Look at that. Now you're talking 1,000%, right? And that is the big misconception around crypto. People think their coin's gonna, no, it's all about percentages, right? So if we go to Theta, or let's go Solana, I would never invest in Solana. It's just, we missed it, you missed it, that's it, it's over. It could do well, it could do very well, but in percentage terms, to the 4.236, you're not even 200, you're about 200% away. So SHIB, 1,000% potential. Solana, 200% potential. Gee, which one would I rather own? Even though SHIB is a meme coin and it has no utility, it doesn't matter. It's still one of those things that I think will do well. Tron had a big breakout. And we talked about Tron a couple times on the channel. And we were saying exactly what this was. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. Cup handle, right? I didn't get to buy it. I didn't get to trade it. But, it is what it is. So Theta versus Bitcoin. I'm not gonna, there's not really much to say. It needs work here. It needs to, it's got some time. Let's just say that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we need to get back up here. So let me go back to Theta. And let's measure how many percentage points it's going to take to get to the 4.236, if I can find it real fast. That's not the right theta. This is the right theta. Okay. So we put the Fib levels on. I mean, we're so far away. Just to get back to the all-time high, it's going to be more percentage points than Solana. I mean, so Solana was 200% and it's cooked. So if I go up 200%, that doesn't even get us to the 2618. That barely puts us in the golden zone for Theta, right? And maybe that's all Theta gets. You just don't know. I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be much more than that. Not financial advised, but I think over time, it's going to do very well. So if we go up to the 4.236, you're looking at 2,000%. So would I rather own Solana with a 4.236 of 200%, or would I rather own Theta with a 2,000%? Now, it's going to be much harder for Theta to get there. It's going to be easier for Solana to get there. It's going to be much harder for Theta, but Theta has more room to gallop, has more room to run. So I don't own Solana. I mean, I don't think there's any, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Now, when you look at Theta, look what it has created. It created some type of cup and handle pattern here, right? And you can see, you can also say a inverse head and shoulders. Like you got a little bit of a shoulder, a big head, and a little shoulder. But I think it's more like a cup and handle. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I should do it like this. Probably like that. Right? Okay, so there's the cup and handle right there. So we have a beautiful cup, a handle. So what is the measured move of that cup and handle? Well, if I started down here and I go up to there, it's not going to be that much. But it should take us, I believe, above the all-time high. So, close enough. It looks to be about 23 bucks. So, but again, how many percentage points is that? That is, you're looking at about 650%. That's still pretty good. I mean, 650%, much better than 200%. Right? But again, that doesn't even get us to the 1618. But again, it's going to be harder to get to the 1618 because we're so far away from it. You know what I mean? That's why Theta needs to get its butt moving fast. It needs to go as soon as possible. So that gets us to about the 1.272, 1.47. So my target is $26. If we break above $16, the target is $26. Now you could have little targets in here, and I'm sure we will stall out at $20. Why? Because, we went from $1 all the way up to $20. You know what I mean? So Theta actually was at 56 cents at the low. Okay, so 56 cents all the way up to $20, that's a lot, guys. That's a lot. If Theta didn't crash so much, like if it flagged out a little bit, maybe maybe $2, and then it created its base, and then, it'd be different. But since it crashed so much, and it really doesn't matter that it crashed a lot, because again, it doesn't matter if Theta goes to $20 or $500. What matters is, where is it going from? So if for example, if Theta started at 2 pennies, right, and went to $20, that's way better than Theta starting at $3 and going to $500. You know what I mean? Because it's more percentages. All right, so from that 57-cent low all the way up to that high, that cup and handle pattern, that's about let me see if I get it right there. It's about 3,900%. So we'll just say 4,000%. 4,000%. That's a 40x move. Right? Yeah, 40x. That's a 40x move from the low. Now, if we go all the way to the 4.236, you're looking at over 100x. So, I mean, can Theta do 100x this cycle? I don't know. I think it could, but it's going to be a big ask. Typically smaller cap coins can do 100x. Where is the market cap of Theta? Let's see. Whoops. By the way, if you can hit that like button, guys, I just went over an hour. Appreciate you. So we're at $3 billion. So we're already a multi-billion-dollar market cap. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I think it'll be amazing. I mean, we're already up from the low, from where we are right now. We're up almost 500%. So we're already up about 4.5x, almost 5x. Right? So we're doing pretty well. So we'll see how it all plays out. Where did I start talking about Theta? Where did I say, hey, this thing's going to start moving? My first Theta video was all the way right here. And I came out and I said, get ready, because this is the time. And what happened? We went all the way up to almost $4. But then we had a crash all the way down. We had a back test, and it was torture, and it was all the way down. We went sideways, but now we're rolling again. Right? So my channel started right here at 63, 64 cents. And now we're sitting here. And it's only the beginning. It's still got much more to go. So get ready. All right, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. By the way, Theta Fuel is probably going to be even bigger. So again, we can do this stuff. I'll do the same analysis with Theta Fuel when I talk about the rotation video and the members video coming up soon. So be ready for that. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.